patch over top of the barrel, take a ball out of another pouch, put that into the patch, then take a small hammer with a small handle with a 4-inch spike on it, push that ball down the first 4 inches, then the rammer comes out, then the rammer seats the ball. Now, that's only going to add to the procedure. It's going to take him longer. However, it helped the procedure of the ball down the barrel. Now, he's got a very accurate weapon. It makes no sense to load really quickly, put it on the shoulder and pull the trigger. He might as well take the time to aim it. He's got a front sight, he's got a rear sight, he's even got 2 triggers on that thing. We'll discuss that in a second. So if you've never fired a weapon before, it's sometimes hard to understand that the action of squeezing the trigger itself can pull you away from your target, especially when you're dealing with something that's 250, 300 yards away. The slightest motion of this end of the weapon can pull you feet off your target. So the idea of having a hair trigger allows him to load it, put it on his shoulder, choose the target, and without moving, he can hit the first trigger, which sets the second trigger to the hair position, meaning it takes the slightest influence from the finger to allow the springs to do their job, creating the sparks, hopefully dropping into the pan and firing it without moving away from the intended target. Round of applause for James and his rifle, please. He does that here because his neighbors and his wife won't applaud for them. So I'm going to fire 2 rounds as well. I'm going to use the 1804 platoon loading exercise, a step-by-step procedure that's used to teach the soldiers how to load and fire the musket. You'll see all the steps the first time. As I go through the second time, I tend to go faster, so you may not see the steps, but they are still there. With blank, cartridge, prime, and load. So you move the musket to the right-hand side of the body. Open the frizz to expose that pan. The next order is handle, cartridge. Reach back, grab onto a cartridge, bite off the top. Prime, pour some of the gunpowder in the pan. Close the frizz to hold the gunpowder tight. Cast it out. Now the rest of the powder, the paper, and the ball, if there was one, would now go down the barrel. The rammer is used to seat that cartridge at the bottom. And I can't stress how important it is to put the ramrod back. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people think that is an excellent projectile. I can't disagree. But I do think it's an awkward projectile. The awkward part is going across the field and asking for it back. So, they tell you in the manual, tap it. Be sure you put it back. Left in the barrel, good chance you're going to create a shish kebab on the other side. Hey, ready? Set. Fire. Bang! Well, I want to show you what a misfire looks like. There's many reasons why the musket might not go off.
Oh, wow.
For example, if it's a windy day, the spark gets blown away from the pan, the musket won't go off. If it's a humid day, the powder picks up with the moisture in the air, the musket won't go off. If it's a Saturday, and it doesn't feel like going off, the musket won't go off. So you're starting to understand that one weapon by itself is not necessarily the best way to fight. So, now I do have ways that I can take care of this. I will tell you now that I have been very successful with this splint. I've had this splint in this weapon for over 60 rounds now, and historically they say that about 60 rounds is what you're supposed to get out of every one. But I'm going to nap this thing, create another couple of edges on here. Take a look at the smoke. Oh, thank you. Now, it's fully conceivable that we can get dressed up in the best camouflage known to modern man today. We can paint our faces, we can stick leaves and trees and rocks and things like that in our hats. We could hide in that field and look like a bush for days. But let me ask you, how many times do I get to fire this weapon before somebody said, that bush just fired at me? You can't hide. It's impossible. One shot, the cloud of smoke says, So the bright red suit, or in my case, orange, is done for a few reasons. And one of them is self-preservation. I'll explain. Most people are surprised by the amount of smoke produced by one weapon, and one weapon does not a whole battle make. Given the way the wind is moving right now, if we put 100 men in the field over here and they fired, that smoke would come across us, and for a brief period, we'd lose each other. That's 100 men. The Americans arrive here May 27th, 1813, with 6,000 muskets. Imagine 500 going off. Napoleon marches to Moscow in the year 1812 with 500,000 muskets! Imagine 20,000 going off, responded to by another 30,000, responded to by another 200,000. It created what became popularly called the fog of war. Where it gets so smoky, you can't tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys, and frankly, that's kind of important. Friendly fire is not a new concept. You don't want to be shooting at your own guys. So yeah, the British are famous for standing there in the bright red suits with, as we call them, the shoot me here cross belts, tall black hats. While the Americans are standing on the other side of the battlefield, all dressed up in bright blue suits with the shoot me here cross belts and tall black hats. The Hessians, the Prussians, the Spaniards, the French, the Swiss, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the militia. Now the militia has an issue. That is in the British forces, they were not issued with a uniform. They did not have one set of clothing that showed what they were doing. So they've got to find a way to show who they're fighting for. In this case, the Lincoln militia has decided to go with the white band around the top hat. Everyone else in the links have to do the same thing, and perhaps more importantly, my command structure needs to know that the guys with the white band around the hat are firing on our side, not against us. We've always, even modern military, yeah, everyone gets all dressed up in camouflage, but you purposely put a flag right there, and quite often right there. Camouflage the tank, cover it with symbols that show what side it's fighting for. Camouflage the airplane, cover it with symbols that show what side it's fighting for. We've always identified what side we're fighting for. The belts, later on in warfare, become known as webbing. They hold on to your stuff. You got all your ammunition on the one side and your bayonet on the other. The choice for the tall black hat, it's, well, as James is proving, the top hat is a very popular piece of headgear in this time period, and the army is nothing if not fashionable. They're standing in long lines, blazing away at each other because everybody is using the height of technology, the musket. So my weapon is now safe. If you'd like to come forward and have a closer look at us, we are available for birthdays and bar mitzvahs. What time is it? So if you do have any questions, we can stick around for a while, but thank you very much for your attention. Anybody want to see how heavy it is?